Hey everyone, it's me Gamerturk. Summer is coming and I don't know what is making me sweat more. The heat starting to creep in or some of these Sonic Frontiers reveals. Don't get me wrong, we had the combat reveal just yesterday. There are plenty of things that I liked. Some of the bosses, especially the big boy, I think it's very well done. Creative with boss-like mechanics. I absolutely love it. But it still baffles me that everything we have seen, it just looks half-baked in general. So to say, you know, some of the enemies are really intriguing, whereas some of the ones like the turtle, I call it the turtle enemy because it reminds me of Sonic Heroes, but the shielded enemy, it looks like it is something that can easily get repetitive quite quickly, even by just watching it without spending any time with gameplay. Some of the attacks are really creative, I really like them. Some of them look weird and seem to have placeholder, if not completely non-existent animations. No idea what's going on with that. All in all, the previews we are seeing, they look unfinished, they look half-baked, and it is probably half-baked, let's be real. It's probably an old build. This has been talked to death on Twitter by a lot of people, but the fact of the matter is it is incomplete or it is half-baked. That's not particularly an excuse when this isn't even IGN going in and recording their own gameplay in their own time. This is specifically stuff provided to IGN by the developers themselves. And why would you give the press something that's looking so unprofessional or half-baked? That should create some questions in your head, especially when you start considering, you know, what Sega's track record, what Sonic Team's track record with these unfinished products end up being. You know, we think of things like Sonic Forces. We talked a lot about, you know, it's gonna get better, the animations are gonna get smoother, this is just a work in progress. What we got was exactly what we saw. Something like Sonic Colors Ultimate, that is. When they first revealed the port, it looked incredibly lacking and a disappointing port, and some of us still wanted to keep our optimism. You know, this is just the early version of the port, they are gonna enhance some stuff. No, it still looked exactly like Sonic Colors. So again, when I see unfinished or half-baked products being a preview to the public, specifically these footages being chosen to be shown to public, that does not give me a lot of confidence. But that is not our topic, I already spoke too long about it. Let's get into the combat preview itself. Same as the exploration preview, we have absolutely no UI whatsoever, which is particularly not a good choice when it comes to combat, because I imagine some of these enemies do require some health bars to a certain extent. But some of them are really nicely and creatively designed to get around that. For example, the first enemy we saw absolutely does not require a health bar. It clearly communicates its own health in quite a nice way, in my opinion. But again, the combat preview definitely felt better than the full exploration preview that we had, in my opinion. But of course, this goes without saying, without seeing the health bar, we don't exactly get to see the effectiveness of some of the fancier attacks, so I'm gonna hold off on commenting any of that yet. I do have some other things to say about some of those fancy attacks. We'll get to it. First, I'm gonna talk about the enemies we have seen, and later I'm gonna be talking about the attacks themselves, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, etc. So the first enemy we see is the ball enemy that has lots of balls around it, and this was the enemy I was referring to, that doesn't need a health bar. Its creative design just conveys its health in a natural way, which I like a lot. You know, that communicate, especially in an open world game where you are better off immersing yourself in the environment. I think that is the better way to go without having health bars. But some of the enemies absolutely require health bars. That's a different topic. We'll talk about it when we get to the turtle enemy. But basically what you're trying to do with this ball enemy is you attack, you destroy the balls around it, which acts as some sort of a shield or a health bar, and once you deplete all the balls around it, you basically attack its core. In fact, based on what we have seen, you don't even attack its core. Once the balls around it is gone, it just gets destroyed. So in my opinion, quite a nice little standard dish enemy that looks energetic mainly because of the way it is designed. I like it. Now moving on to the turtle enemy. I do have issues with the turtle enemy because it does remind me of the turtle enemies from Sonic Heroes, which is why I refer to it as a turtle enemy. It does not even look like a turtle, it just has a shield that it covers itself around. It has nice mechanics. Unlike that turtle enemy that just decides to hide in its shield and never come back out. This one actually can be baited into attacking, which is one of the two ways that you can damage and eventually destroy it. You turn around, move a little bit back, it looks like it just extends its shields, creates a slicey plate of some sort, and then attacks you with it, at which point it no longer has a shield and you can go ahead and attack it. But if you are too greedy, that shield is basically boomeranging itself back into you and will hit you instead, so you gotta be careful. You know, I like that risk and reward mechanic in terms of engaging combat. Or alternatively, you can just go ahead and use your tornado attack, which launches it upwards. Well, two different tornado attacks we have. I will talk about it in the, attack section later in this video. But one of the tornado attacks, it just lunges the entire thing upwards inside its shield, and it's just gonna land back in its place. No difference made. That is a bit of a weird decision. But the other tornado attack you have, where you circle around with the after effect, which is used towards other enemies as well, that one actually launches the shield upwards, and the core of the enemy, the actual enemy itself, is gonna remain right there without a shield for you to have some fun with. I believe it's definitely better than the turtle thingies back in Sonic Heroes, but again, without the right approach or even difficult versions of this enemy, I can see becoming quite repetitive and annoying and frustrating to fight. Of course, it also depends on the health bar of the enemy or the upgradability of our attacks, because if you remember back in Heroes, you could, get to level 3 with your speed character and just homing attacking it quite effectively, or you could just switch to a power character and one-shot them instead. Here in this preview, based on whatever level attacks we're using, if there are levels, it still takes 2 or 3 non-shield phases to actually destroy it. So it's not like those easy to clear ads, but a little bit more of a major enemy of some sort. It depends how the game is going to evolve going forward with our skills, etc. and all that jazz. Next up, we had the standard enemies. I like them a lot. They are easy to kill. Seemingly, you can just homing attack chain them one by one. They don't overstay their welcome. They have neat little attacks. We also see some dodge movement here and there, and I am really interested how we're gonna be using dodge, because we have the side steps, which seem to be acting as dodges in some of these instances, whereas some of the instances we see Sonic actually dodging backwards to where the camera is looking from. So we may have a separate dodge button, or it may just be a different interaction with the side steps. That is yet to be seen, but I like it. Those easy to kill enemies, they are the staple of Sonic. They give a little bit more energy into the combat because you can just breeze through, homing attack, homing attack, homing attack, keep chaining from one to the other. I like those kinds of enemies. They fit Sonic really well, and they don't overstay their welcome. The homing attack itself, it seems to be lacking a lot of energy compared to previous games, especially Unleashed and Generations. I think there are improvements to be made to the standard homing attack animations. In fact, a lot of things. One of the reasons why this game feels so half-baked is because it lacks that energy in a lot of different places as well, not just the standard homing attack. So I do hope some of those effects work can be improved, but some other attacks we'll talk about in a second. Last but not least, my favorite enemy, the large boys. They seem to be acting like these world bosses, world mini-bosses. Let's say they're really creative, really engaging, but based on what we have seen in the preview alone, oh my god, please fix the shenanigans that they are going through. The way you attack these are exactly how we imagined it was going to be based on the reveal teaser we had a couple days ago from IGN. You basically bait them to stomp, then you run up their leg, and then you attack the core up above. They have 3 different cores. You need to destroy all 3 of them to destroy the enemy. So you basically rinse and repeat the same process 3 times, but the challenge of climbing up goes up with every single destroyed core. So that escalating difficulty is something I really enjoy. What I don't enjoy is, out of 3 climbing sections, we literally saw Sonic get stuck or get screwed over by the leg geometry twice. In footage provided by the devs themselves, by Sonic Team themselves. That should give you a lot of red flags. If the thing ships out the way it is right now that we are seeing in this preview, that is going to be bad. You will feel it's going to be bad. Everyone on the internet is going to feel it's bad. and you'll definitely see it on your Twitter feed in not the kindest word. But you know, in a dev preview, 3 out of 2 getting screwed over by the leg geometry, that is something that needs to be fixed. Absolutely, no questions. Like that cannot be greenlit that way. You know, there's a very fine line between interesting and interactive and becoming frustrating. I really do prefer this one leaning into the interesting and interactive because it's really well designed. The first leg feels like a nice tutorial where it just gives you clear communication that you need to run up and then attack the core. That is really good. Starting from the second one, you're gonna start having some obstacles, and the third one, you have quite a lot of obstacles that will try to prevent you from going up into the core. It's a really cool combat challenge in my opinion. I do certainly hope we see more enemy types like these, and I certainly do hope these 4 enemies are not the only enemy types we're gonna be facing in the game, aside from real bosses, of course. But yeah, moving over to the attacks themselves, we have the standard attacks, the punches and kicks of Sonic. It does remind me of Shadow's gameplay from back in Sonic 06. I think it's a little bit better visually speaking, you know, it's a little bit more charming compared to the boring and dull looking Sonic 06 stuff. But again, it's nothing spectacular either. It's a standard attack, you can't expect too much. I talked about homing attack earlier. It feels like it is lacking a lot of energy, you know, that chaining action. I think it needs to happen a little bit faster, but yeah, that can be adjusted in my opinion quite quickly in the short term. Whether that's something they want, I hope it's something they want, you know, make the homing attacks a little bit more exciting. Excitement is good in your Sonic game, Sonic team, you know that, right? People do want to be excited when playing Sonic. Now the second attack is my absolute favorite, the slicey barrage thingy that Sonic throws from a range. We have seen it used against multiple enemies. I think it greatly fits Sonic. I have no idea what slices he's throwing at them, but I do not particularly care. I think it's a great attack, the fast pace, you know, I really like that. That is exciting, you know, that's the excitement I'm talking about. That's a very good job on that. The other attacks, I do have some gripes with. They aim to be a little bit more cinematic or like a finisher animation that you recognize from some other games, but they feel, I'm using this word a lot, half-baked. When you look at the teleport behind and zip zap, I think the attack fits Sonic really well. I think it is a good addition by default, by its own nature. But what is that sudden teleport to a mile away? What's that camera movement? It just feels, it feels wonky. It doesn't feel natural. Like the attack itself feels like it fits Sonic, but how it initiates, it just feels like it's taking you completely out of the picture and then bringing you back in. Also the zip zap portion, I think it needs a little bit more of an anime feeling, you know what I mean? Give it a little bit more impact. Like, what is this? Just zip 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 zip. That looks boring. Give it a little bit more energy. The entire game, just pump it a little bit more energy. That's what we need. The attack where Sonic just flies off, then rotates and goes in for a kick, I have no issues with that. The camera feels a bit wonky. I have no idea why. The angle itself is a bit weird, but I like that attack. No particular issues. I just had to close the window because, oh my god, kids in Turkey don't yell this much. What are they even doing? Anyways, the tornado attack. The tornado attack without the after effects circling around, I mean. It looks bad. I have no idea what's going on with the animations of that one. It looks like it just initiates and Sonic is in a completely still position and just rotates around his own axis without moving at all. Sonic team, I have no idea what you did with that. Please don't do that. Like, worst case scenario, just take a page from Sonic Heroes' book, turn Sonic into a spin ball and make him rotate around the axis as a spin ball, not this stupid static animation. Bad. Now, the trail tornado mechanic, where you go around the enemy using that after effect, whatever power it is, and then launch the enemy upward. I really like it. It looks like multiple enemies have different ways to engage with it. As I said, the shield turtle enemy just launches its shield up rather than launching itself as a huge shield block. compared to the normal tornado. The big Chungus boys, you can go around their legs and tornado their legs upwards, which makes them stagger a bit, and then you can attack the underneath of their foot. Not sure whether that is actually tied into combat or whether that's just to grab the collectibles. That's a bit confusing, but I guess we will learn more about it. I really do hope it is integral to the combat. You know, it's doing something to the big Chungus boys that makes their overall combat easier because it's an additional step, you know. That's how RPG combats work. If you're doing an additional step, it should hurt the enemy somehow. But yeah, it's definitely not bad. Not bad at all, in fact. I like what I have seen in regards to combat. The problem continues to be the half-baked nature of the game. The fact of the matter is, they simply shouldn't show such a half-baked product as their first extensive impression to the public. This is why extensive trailers exist, you know. Give us a 2.5 minute trailer where you can show the best parts of your game, and then when the game itself is ready, when you have a section that is ready to be showcased, then start showcasing. Like, the main issue with Frontiers right now is its marketing decisions. Similar things we had with Sonic Forces as well. They revealed the game so much earlier than when it was ready to be revealed to public, extensively that is, and it just led to a huge period where we didn't hear anything. Same case with Frontiers. They revealed it such a long time ago, and then we didn't hear anything at all. And that gets, you know, all the fans agitated, frustrated. What is happening? Is the game still coming? Is it gonna get delayed? You know, the fans just start theorizing due to the lack of any kind of information. And then you haphazardly bring in a huge information drop with a build that is clearly not ready for that kind of public attention. It's incredible what's happening there. As I said, I genuinely think it's more of a marketing blunder than it is a blunder on the game. However, I would like to reiterate Sonic Team's track record with half-baked previews where we like to think, you know, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get fixed. Their track record with that is not very well, so concerns do remain. I like what I have seen from combat, but it needs to be polished. Just give us a more polished demo at some point. Showcase us something that is working as flawlessly as possible. I think right now, after these 2-3 days of different reveals, including the teaser, I think that is what the fan base needs. Now, the person who did the coverage from IGN did comment, as mentioned throughout this video, the footage was provided by Sonic Team themselves. The IGN was not allowed to take any kind of gameplay themselves on the build they played. He teased a lot more things to see, which may just be teasing their coverage or actually genuine about the game. The entire month of June will tell us, I guess. But yeah, I do hope we see more of a recent build to see how much more polish is added rather than old build Sonic Team has provided the gameplay footage with. That's all I have to say for today. Do subscribe for more coverage. Again, we're gonna have more throughout the month of June thanks to IGN, and I will see you guys then. Until then, stay cool.